Hey guys, welcome to tonight's show. Xavier is on the podcast tonight. Dame, y'all want to say hi?
Hola, mi nombre es Damon. Oh, no. Okay, that's enough. So, Willie, come back. You're in the right channel.
No, he getting himself together. Xavier's just going to be loud at this particular point. He's rebelling against sleep.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. I don't know why somebody didn't bring me in.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if you were still fixing your thing. It had two Willie Styles pop up, so I know which one was the right
No, it's
one.
all right. It's all right. I'm here. I was sitting there like, she not gonna bring me in? What's going on?
I got a lot going on over here. I got a child that's refusing to go to sleep and wants to be
Well,
in the
tonight we
house.
got a great show lined up for you guys. It's actually going to be our last show for a little while. We're going to go on a little vacation, and we haven't officially come up with the timeline, but at least probably for at least what, a month, maybe two. So we'll see. We'll let you guys know. But for the most part, we will be posting probably some replays, some favorite shows, things like that. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, we got a show lined up to keep you guys entertained for the rest of the evening, and then that'll be that. But that's just for the Monday show. I will be back on Wednesday with Chevy for the Styles and Chevy recap for She-Hulk. We're going to be finishing up that series over the next few weeks. Actually, not this week. I'm sorry. I won't be back this week. Next week. Next week on next Wednesday. This past week's show wasn't really that long and didn't really reveal much. So yeah. So we're gonna skip this week for Styles and Chevy recap, but we will be back next week. So make sure you guys check us out.
Oh man, I missed the first one. I was in here passed out.
Oh yeah, make sure you go check out that replay. It's still available, still ready for you to stream. So you can't miss the shows. Our shows are always available. What up, though, Hank?
What's up, gang?
Shit, chilling. But yeah, and no, also, well, I think you got some shows to pass over to me, but Hank is probably still going to be doing shows as well over the next couple of months. So be on the lookout for the How to Hustle podcast on Hank on Tuesdays. At 2 p.m. on YouTube, on GFT Radio Network, YouTube channel, as well as Monday mornings on our audio podcast. So make sure you guys check that out.
Yeah, I gotta
But
send
yeah,
you something when we get done.
say it again.
I got something to send you when we get done.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Dame don't got nothing to send me. Dame
No.
always,
I got something to say though. How you
Dame
gonna
always
let
pulling it.
How you gonna let that girl come in and take take your slogan from Brownstone?
No clue what you're
You
talking
should have
about.
you should have went on stage and just slapped her. She said, "What up, though?"
That's a slogan for the city. I don't control that.
No, I'm
I
just
just say
kidding.
that
No,
that is
no,
a
it was a good
definitely a
concert.
Detroit thing.
No, we had a concert this weekend. I didn't know Willie was there.
Even though I told him
That's it.
twice, but that's neither here
I
nor
don't pay attention to you. So anyway, um,
there.
SWV, Brownstone, and Jagged Edge was in town last weekend.
Jagged
It
Edge,
was
one of
pretty.
my
It
favorite,
was an
probably
interesting
my
concert.
favorite
That's for sure.
R&B.
Interesting, very interesting. All right, so
Mine's too
today
high.
we're going to be talking about living through your children. So it's going to be a very good parenting topic, and we're going to get to it. I think Sonny came up with this topic. Sonny, what was the inspiration to this?
I'm gonna try to do this without Zave's screen in the background. But I was watching actually a show, and then I was talking about somebody's life experience where their parents wanted them to follow the path that they were doing, like the family business, and that
Hmm.
person got not really disowned, but like kicked to the curb essentially because they weren't following the plan and doing what the parents wanted them to do. And it's like,
Right.
are we to that extent? Like, I know we want our kids to do better and do more than what we're doing, or follow the family business, quote unquote. But what if that's not what they want to do? Like, how willing are you as a parent to say that if my child doesn't do this and this, I'm going to disown you to a certain extent. I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to you at worst kick you out, and you can't be here because you're not doing what I want you to do.
Got you. Yeah, that's a that's not a unusual situation. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of parents out there who have either family businesses or family careers, um, or singular expectations of their kids, and uh, it may result in them either pushing the kid into that space, or them trying to guide the kid into that space, that kind of thing. I think the first question I had was, what was your childhood growing up in terms of things that your parents expected you to do? Let's start with careers and career and um, you know uh, basically career business expectations. Let's go with Sunny.
I don't think my mom had like career things. My mom was a couple of things in her life. She was a substitute teacher. She went to school for nursing. She did a couple of different things. So I don't think her thing was a career thing. She just didn't want us to be. She wanted us to do something, be productive in a sense. Don't. She taught us not to lean on somebody to take care of you. So we had to. The only way we were going to survive is if we got it ourselves. So like that was the thing. Like she didn't want us leaning on anyone. She wanted. I think for us, it didn't matter what we did as long as we weren't essentially stuck. Say if I was with you, I couldn't just be leaned on you to take care of me. I have to be able to maintain myself. That was one of the things that we were taught. Like you got to go out and do your own, whether it's working a regular job, a part-time job or something, but you can't be solely dependent on somebody or a system.
For sure, for sure. Dame, did your parents have any expectations of you?
Hard to get into Chrysler, so no. That my father with that one. My mom, growing up, wanted me to work in an office, business attire, suit, tie, and all that stuff. I can't sit in an office for more than 2 hours, let alone 8 to 10. So she was kind of disappointed that she's happy that I'm happy with the jobs I've had. As long as I was happy and able to support me and my family, she's okay with that. But I think her ultimate dream was for all her sons to have business attire, not blue collar.
Got you. Hank, did your parents have any expectations for you?
Nah, but this is kind of similar to something that we talked about on episode 77 of the How to Hustle podcast with Hank. That was available last week. Shout out to Truth and Coffee Time podcast. Where we talked about, it was what does your happily ever after look like, and not just imposing your will on your kids. So this is funny that we're doing here today. I didn't have them kind of parents. Like my mom and my dad wasn't really like that, like where they was gonna force nothing on you. As long as you wasn't going to jail or doing nothing to put yourself to go to jail, because my dad had been in jail and my mom took the whole ride with my dad. So she was like, I'm never coming up because I did all of that with him, riding to these mountains back and forth for like, I think my dad was like 7.5 or 9 years he did. So it was just like, as long as you ain't trying to go to jail, then we good. Now, my mom and my dad did open 2 restaurants, and when they opened the first store, me and my brother he was 17, I was 13. Then the second store, I was 15, he was 19. Uh, I wouldn't say that they was really necessarily like trying to force like, hey, y'all go run the store type of thing, but it was like we was really too young to even want to be in those type of situations. Like, yeah, we'll be here just so we could get some free food and we can make some money, but like we wasn't at that point really looking to run no business, and they wasn't really like looking for us to run the business. So nah, they never forced nothing on us like that.
Okay, okay, all right. So far so good, but I'm about to change all that because my parents were like, "You gonna be this." I grew up in a household where we were definitely not well off or anything, and my parents always had big dreams and aspirations for themselves, and they landed in places where it just worked out, right? My mother was in the military, then she moved on to government work as a postal worker. My dad was in the military as well. He was also a mechanic and a welder, and then he moved on to truck driving. He loved truck driving. That was one thing he did love. But raising us in I would say like a middle class home. They, wanted us to aspire to do bigger things than they were doing. Primarily, my dad was very adamant about me being in a scientific role. He kind of recognized that, I had the aptitude to handle things, such as that. And so he was kind of forward thinking and believing that, pharmaceuticals and chemistry was where, the future was, where there was a future for me. So he really encouraged me, highly encouraged me to become a chemist, and definitely push that agenda all the way through my high school years. I ended up following those that guidance, and during my high school tenure at Cass in Detroit, I ended up that's Cass Tech in Detroit, one of the best high schools ever. I ended up taking chemistry as a chemical engineering, to be exact, as a kind of a major in that high school. So I ended up with 4 years of chemistry, and fortunately for me, well, unfortunately for his dream of me becoming a chemist, is that I got tired of chemistry. After 4 years of doing it in school, I was done. But fortunately for me, he also had the forward thinking, the forward vision of seeing that technology would also be the future. Mind you, my father was significantly older than my mom, and he grew up in a time before a lot of the modern technology had ever even been thought of, let alone created. So he predated television. He predated computers and even things such as home electronics and things of that nature. So he definitely saw that, as those things rose and quickly evolved, he saw that was and a thing that will continue to evolve quickly and be, the future in careers. So he also pushed technology. He also pushed business ownership. He didn't specifically own any businesses in his day, but he either helped build businesses or help promote businesses. So his guidance was also to, do something you love and do something that you can be your own boss in. So he pushed all those things, and fortunately for me, those other items worked out for me. I took to technology quickly, was very adept at it. Started off at 9 years old, with computers, as well as doing networking over time, and then became an operations specialist as well as an engineer. So that has worked out quite well for me. I'm a computer engineer now, or a systems engineer, as well as over that time, especially in my teenage years, him pushing, being a business owner. I opened up businesses starting when I was a teenager, and continued to do that all the way up until about 10 years ago, when I decided to just do the day job and take care of the kids. I still have some businesses on the side, but I have kind of like let that die down. But I look at it as his way of trying to ensure my success, and for him to have that that true forward vision, it just kind of worked out. So I definitely don't feel like he really threaten me with with do this or there's going to be a problem, but he definitely did push and guide me along that path. Everything from school to clubs that I was a part of, to classes that I took outside of school, and then, like I said, the businesses and the technology that was put in front of me. He definitely did as much as he could to ensure that I understood the vision and the guidance, and took hold of that. So it worked out for me.
Definitely.
All right, next question.
You said, hold up. So you said you took chemistry for 4. I took chemistry 4 times. I failed. I hated chemistry.
I had chemistry 1, chemistry 2. I had qualitative analysis, quantitative analysis. I had some advanced chemistry classes as well. So there was a lot of chemistry going on, in high school. So I'm definitely happy. Well, was definitely happy to be done with it once I was done with high school.
Reason I didn't graduate was because of chemistry. I had 23 credits. You need 23 and a half. I had chemistry, 10th grade summer school, 12th grade night school. Like, finally passed it in 12th grade summer school. I hated chemistry.
Man, I feel you. Yeah, after all that time, I kind of hated chemistry too. So best believe.
Hey, that was at Furnace, the best high school in the world. In my day, I don't know about now.
So if you're talking about high school, Trent Central High School, TCHS Tornadoes, you already know.
Man, y'all lucky I left
y'all got nothing to promote, Dame? You good? You good? Because Dame already knows my school is the best school in Detroit, so you know.
Listen, I live with a woman that used to go to Renaissance, so I'm not going to get in this fight between y'all two.
Yeah, I'm not about to get in that fight with her. So, what other expectations did your parents have for you? Politics, religion, morals, values, etc. Sonny?
Again, I'm going to try to do this without my stalker being in the background. But anywho, as far as politics, no, my mom wasn't. You never had any conversation about politics. Religion was odd because she really couldn't say too much about religion because we had a plethora of. We talked about this on the other show. My mom was raised Catholic. My grandma was a Baptist. So was my aunt. My stepdad was what's the people that Jehovah's Witness, and we grew up in a Pentecostal church. So just it was just a lot of stuff going on. And then my brother's the atheist. So you just got whatever
you covered everything.
So like we had the house of everything, like whatever it was.
I think only thing you was a Muslim and a Jew, and they'd have been straight.
Listen. The way my brother you would, or my sister Jazz, you would say that, but we grew up in a Pentecostal church, so it's just we're all over the place. But
you mentioned everything but Satan worshiper.
But as far as morals and values, it was my mom was big on family. Like even if family wasn't shit, family. Because sometimes family just ain't shit, but family. She wanted everybody to be like, basically like no matter what was going on, we all family. That was the vibe that we grew up in. So that was pushed upon us heavy values to not take, like, to be responsible. Like she showed us how to be responsible with our money, how to I think most of us pay rent. By the time we were 18, we were paying rent, like not real rent, but something. So we knew the value of $1, and that we got to pay real bills. So by the time we went out on our own, we knew we knew we had to pay bills. So kind of got used to that. Like she didn't really like say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." Like how I do with my daughter, I pretty much she got she has her stuff going on, but she I'm always gonna help. My mom's like, "No, you're on your own. You got your own job. Do it." And the worst kind of worst, if you really fall on yourself, you can always come back here. But she was basically saying, like, get out there and do what you're supposed to. If you're gonna go out there and do it right, type of thing. So that was one of the things that she showed us morals. Don't be out here in the streets acting up, because no matter how old you are, she will beat your ass. So it was that. I can't hear you.
Somebody talking? All right, Willie's muted. Or is that just me?
No, Willie was muted, like he was saying something.
Yeah, go. I was just telling Hank to go ahead.
Oh, all right. Yeah, see, again, like when my mom and my dad, when I was born, my dad was 40, my mom was 37. So they were full grown adults, and they wasn't like, they never been the type to like force nothing on you. Like, obviously I grew up Muslim because they both took their shahadas in the 60s. So it was like, as a kid, this is what it is, and this is what we doing. Now, if you decide that you want to do something else, once you get to the age and stage to make those decisions on your own, that's up to you. But as long as you under my roof and you're a kid, then yeah, this is the way that we going. Now, that didn't stop us from being able to, go do the Christmas thing at my cousin's or, all of that type of thing. But when you a child, but they never like my mom and my dad was never like that. Like my wife asked me because she was watching something like last week. What was the last curfew I had? I'm like, I don't even know. Maybe like 10 o'clock when I was like 10, 11. Because I'm like, all my friends was always older than me. So it was like I got most of my stuff just from watching like my brother and my friends. Like when I'm 10, my friends is 14 because my brother's 14. Like so my friends is 14, 16, 17. So I'm just learning from the experiences and the things that they going through to the point where I know I ain't really even going nowhere. I'm gonna be on the block with them. And I know, like I said, as long as they was on the tip, basically, like long as you ain't doing nothing to go to jail, long as you ain't holding nobody's nothing. If I go in this room and you got something in here, now we got a problem. And all of that just came from my dad going through all of that. And my dad, the best advice my dad ever gave me was, if it worked, you be doing it for me. Because we
Right.
tried all of that when I was your age and younger, and all of us ended up in jail.
That's interesting. Like, yeah, if it worked, I'd be good, but it didn't work out.
And I
Right.
mean, not to go all the way into what my dad and them, but if you know anything about Black Mafia, that was my dad and them. So they had hospitals, banks, newspapers, you name it, they had it going on because they was all about the pro-black situation back in those days.
Right.
So, like he said, though, if it worked, you be doing it for me.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, my parents, they weren't highly religious, but my mom was always like, very into her faith. She was just basically like, hey, believe in something. Don't just be out here, talking about you don't believe in something and not having some kind of spiritual background. So she always pushed me and my sister to go to somebody's church. That's what she always said. Go to somebody's church. Go worship somewhere. Do something. Don't just be out here flapping in the wind. They also were very into community, either activism or community support, giving back as well, volunteering. My dad was heavy into that, so they pretty much pushed that, and had us, involved in community work, as well as giving back and that kind of thing. So growing up doing that so often, I did a lot of that, as an adult as well. I definitely, I didn't push my kids, or not push. I didn't make my kids do a lot of volunteer work, specifically that I was doing, mainly just because a lot of the stuff I was doing was either tied to my job and stuff like that. So it was always like opportunity after opportunity to do it, but just within that realm. But I definitely pushed, preached it and pretty much guided them through when they did do their own volunteer work. Most of them did volunteer work throughout high school. Probably with the exception of my youngest son, which I got to make sure he gets his volunteer work in because they also are required to do it for their high school. So yeah, so it's a lot of the things that they did was more guide than push. But there was certain things that they definitely believed in, and to Sonny's point, their biggest thing was stay out them streets. Don't be out here causing trouble, making trouble. Be a good citizen, be a good person, be productive. Basically, because they're gonna beat my ass if I don't. Still believe my mama will beat my ass if I don't. So definitely, being a productive person in this community was one of their biggest thing. What up though, Jamie? Appreciate you coming through. And anybody else in the comments, definitely drop your comments. Let us know how your parents guided you through your childhood. But yeah, so that's how that worked out for me. Let's go over to Dame real quick, and then we'll get smooth in here. What other expectations that your parents have for you, Dame?
In the words of Sonny, not to be unproductive, be a productive citizen in this world. My mom said you either do a couple of things, you go to school or you go to work. And as long as you abide by the rules of this house, we have no problems. Help out in this household. As long as you being productive and not causing any ruckus, you can stay here as long as you want. She wasn't really big on 18 and you're out like some of our other cousins, families are. Paying some bill in the house to get me ready for real life. not putting the whole. You're gonna pay all this and this. You're gonna pay half the rent. You're gonna pay half the mortgage. You're not gonna pay half the lights. She started off slow with paying one bill, and it just kept increasing as my jobs got better. Out of high school, because it wasn't.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't like just throw me to the wolves because you're not ready. Once you now unless you're Willie, you're not ready for the real world at 18 to just go out or 16 to go out on your own and just start making making money. Driving yachts and stuff like that, like Willie. But I did my own until I was like 22. I moved out to Florida. My first big experience. Moved to Florida, and I felt good to send my money back to my mom to help her out when she retired. But that's it.
I had a question. Did everybody mom or dad make them pay bills when y'all was like staying at the house?
Yeah, pretty much.
When I was 18, yeah, it was like I said, my mom, it was like I paid $175 a month. That's all I paid. Whatever it went to, whatever it went to. But I guess I'm assuming that was her way to get us. Like, she never said like, "Oh, this is why I'm doing this." I figured it was a way to prepare me to get used to paying bills. Because back then, you didn't have a cell phone. Well, back when I was growing up, you was just like they was just coming out with Willie, you older than us, but like I didn't get a cell phone until I was like probably in my sophomore year of college. So I was 8. I graduated at 17.
Hey, Sonny, that pager didn't pay for itself.
Huh?
That pager didn't pay for itself back in the day.
Oh yeah, but I never had a pager. Mikey ain't play that. So yeah, I just had like at 17, I didn't really have any bills. By like 18, I started college, and then she was like, "All right, well, look, you working. This is what, like, because I always worked, but she was like, but now, I need you to come up off 175 each month." And she didn't want to hear an excuse. It was this is what it is, and it was on her. Like, it was like almost to me like it was rent to me, and it was like it has to be paid by this day, and there was no next day. I catch you later, or my paycheck ain't right. It was none of that. It was, and so like for me, it got me to paying. Like when I moved out, I knew I had to pay bills. I knew it was no excuse coming with why I couldn't pay these bills. This is when the bill was due. I had to pay them.
Right.
Period.
Right. So
See,
Smooth, we asked a question earlier about.
Hold up, real quick. I asked that because my mom always said, "I don't want your money," because once you start taking money, you start thinking that you got a choice and rules. Like you start thinking you got to say so around here.
Oh no, I had absolutely no say so.
Right, no, that definitely wasn't the thought in our household. My parents were like, no.
It wasn't like a afterthought. Oh, I could start saying something. No, it was absolutely not that.
Yeah, see, I mean,
that was bribe money, so I didn't get my ass kicked or get kicked out.
Yeah, see, like my motivation for once I moved, it was like, if you don't pay these, as long as the bills come in your name, it means you don't live here with her. Not even that my mom was doing, like, even my mom and my dad would even be like that type of always in your business type and all of that type shit. But it was like, as long as the bills have my name on it, I don't have to live with them. So make sure the cable's paid. Let's make sure the gas is paid. That's why my cousin, like, nigga, you didn't pay the cable bill. I should be on his ass. Like, why is the cable off? What are you doing? That's your bill. Like,
right.
But my bad. Go ahead. You transitioning to Smooth.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Go ahead, Smooth. What kind of expectations did your parents have for you? Career, business, anything like that? When you was growing up?
I was independent minded, bro. So they knew they couldn't put their expectations. I had my own expectations of me. Especially when it came to what I wanted to do. My dad wanted me to stay in college, but at the time I just didn't. That just wasn't my focus when I was there. You know what I mean? So outside of that, man, like my parents, one thing I'm thankful for is they wanted me to be a good person, a good individual. As far as how I go about my career, how I make my money, or that was all left up to me. You feel me? Like I said, when we did a show similar to this before, when we was talking about the thing, remember I was saying I was undecided.
Mhm.
You know, like the day before I left for college, I was waiting on a Marine recruiter to come. You understand? So if the Marine recruiter would have came, as he scheduled like he should have, I would have went to the Marines. He didn't come that day. I had to be on campus. 16 hours later, I went to campus. I was like, "Oh, he ain't come," because I was just indecisive at the time about what I wanted to do. So, but that was all my decision. My parents never put pressure on me to do this or do that. School was major, but like school always came easy to me, and that was a problem in itself. Like I was supposed to get skipped. Teacher tried to skip me. Guidance counselor was on some bullshit. You feel me? So I lost my love for school then, but like school was never an issue. So they always knew, like my mom got 5 kids. She'll always say, no matter what, I'm by far the smartest. Like she'll tell every one of my siblings that to their face. Like y'all not as smart as him. Blah, blah, blah. My thing was I was too emotional. I remember we talked about this before. I was more so at that age, like y'all saying, get my emotions in order. But as far as being headstrong and doing what I wanted to do, how I made my money, that was all on me. Now to Hype's question about the bills paying, I'm like you said, there was no choice. You feel me? Once I came home from college and I decided I was going to work, you feel me? I was just telling a story to somebody. That day I told my dad that next morning, 6 o'clock, I was staying at his house, 6 o'clock in the morning, splash. Wake your ass up, nigga. Like, you better go get a job. You feel me? You're not about to sit around here. You feel me? You're not going to. So by 12:30, I walked back in the house with a job. You know what I mean? So, and then with the bills, he was like, you watching this cable? That cable bill yours. That was no sign of, all right, I got some say so, I got some authority. It was like, nah, motherfucker, if you're gonna stay in this house, you're gonna do that. If you're gonna sleep here. And the same was with my mom. You feel me? Like, you're grown now. I'm not taking care of you. You're a grown man. You gotta help out if you're gonna stay here. If you're going, me and my mom went half on a place together before. You feel me? But it was still, it was a big ass house at the time. You feel me? So it was like my part was like separated, kind of. But it wasn't like I could come and go as I please. I could have any company I wanted to, stuff like that. But it wasn't like I had say so. I was still young. This is her house. You feel me?
Right.
I didn't say that to say me and my brother had no say so now. Like, we still don't have no say so. That's still a respect level of she's the mom. You be 57 and I'm not gonna ever walk in her house and what the fuck is, I'm never doing that. Like, so please don't confuse me there.
Yeah, no, we feel you. So, were there any other expectations, politics, religion, morals, values that they really pushed?
They tried. I'm gonna say that they tried. Like I told y'all before, just like you, bro. My mom was a Jehovah's Witness. You feel me? Like, we had that conversation before. She tried to get me into that. I wasn't rocking with it. My dad, he was like a Methodist or whatever in his later years before he passed. I say later years, he died at 42, but you feel me? He tried to get me into church because I guess he seen that battle I was going through emotionally at the time. You feel me? Like, I really had an issue with controlling my emotions. You know what I mean? Like, I was erratic with my emotions. They were all over the place. And I still deal with that to this day, but not as severe as then. So they tried to get me then, but inshallah, it didn't work. You feel me?
So the next question I have for you guys is, if not expect, what do you encourage your children to do? Career, business, sports, things like that. What do you guys encourage your children to do with their futures? Go ahead, Sonny.
entrepreneurship. I want my daughter to, and my son too, to be self-sufficient. Like even if they have like a regular steady job, to do something I'm probably scared to do myself, but like have a business outside of that, like have that side hustle that could possibly be something that you can do for the rest of your life and leave that full-time job or part-time job alone and just focus on what you want to do. I think for me, I got sidetracked in with what I wanted to do originally, and then I got complacent with what I was doing, and I just wanted stability. So for me, it was like a lot of stuff as far as my life was concerned. I could have tried to do a couple of different things, but I got comfortable in stability and making sure I can maintain for them and knew that this steady check, and that's one thing too. Like I got used to being the sole person, the provider for my kids. My daughter is now 20. So I got used to taking care of her by myself, the same with my son. And that's steady income, that's guaranteed income. If I go to work, I know I'm getting paid. Whereas if I do something else, the guarantee of money is I can't, I've already been low. I've been homeless. I've lived at slept on people's couches and paid their bills and still got put out. So for me, the need for stability and being self-sufficient was a major part for me to be a parent for them. So I don't want them to deal with that struggle. I want them to be better and them to have opportunities to do exactly what they want to do without being complacent and stuck where you always have to make sure you have money. You have to have guaranteed money so that you can maintain. Like maybe later on in life, I'll get to the point where I can say, this is what I want to do. Like, I mean, I do some stuff here and there, but like, it's not consistent. That I'm, I can make money off of it. I do it when I feel like it. But if I can get to the point where I'm okay with putting myself out there and really doing it, which I think my daughter is she's more self-sufficient. So while she works a job too, she still has other stuff that she wants to do. And I don't want her to lose that. And the same with my son, I want him to, whatever he chooses to do in life, to be comfortable with doing that because I'm stable. You can go ahead and do what you need to do. Because at the end of the day, I got you while you try to pursue what you're going to do. Like I'm going to have your back. So I want them to be more self-sufficient than I was.
Right. No, I feel you. Smooth.
I was just having this conversation with my daughter yesterday, full disclosure. So my landlord was here working on the house this whole weekend. So it killed the whole weekend plans because, I want to be here while they working to make sure they don't, what I mean? You feel me? So I'm sitting here and while they working, while him and his helper working, I'm looking at her. I'm like, see, if I would have did what I'm doing now earlier, which is getting my degree, building my skill sets up, which I already had skill sets, like me getting sick set me back. But I always tell her, you can avoid this situation by taking care of business early. You feel me? I'm giving you the blueprint. You feel me? Because there's no reason, and she's listening right now. There's no reason I should be renting. You feel me? I don't know if y'all ever heard Brother Polite before, but he got this saying, I'm too smart to be broke. You understand? And that and like that's what I was looking at it. I had tears in my eyes when I'm too smart for this, too talented for this. So don't settle. Understand you're going to have setbacks. Your failures are part of your success story. You feel me? Learn from your failures.
Indeed.
Don't let your failures beat you down to where you're defeated. Just because you fail, you're not defeated. Them failures are stepping stones to where you got to get to. So make sure you have some skills and find your passion. Whatever your passion is, find it and hone your skills. My daughter has a thing of, she's very talented. She can do multiple things. But find something and stick to it. And understand it takes work. Understand it takes practice. You're not going to get it on a first try. I hit Sunny up because like my daughter got the entrepreneurial spirit. Remember, Sunny, I sent you the thing. She tried to sell some clothes and make her designs.
Yeah.
Rings. You feel me? I just helped her start an Etsy account to where she could sell some of her clothes that was good that she can't fit no more. You know what I mean? That's her. You know what I mean? She was just
You do it
asking
on eBay too.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's
I'm about to say,
dope.
'cause
That's
me
dope.
and eBay, I do that. I do it with my son clothes. Like, listen, come get this stuff.
Exactly. You feel me? So I love her entrepreneurial spirit. Don't mess up some for show money, trying to get some more money too. That's
Yeah,
big.
I like that right there. That's
You
that's a
feel
good
me?
one.
So never mess up. And that's what cost me before, trying to get some more money, fucked up my for show money, and then I was asked out. You feel me? Having to start back all the way over. So that's one of the main things. Like, you can follow your dreams, follow your passions. You can do all this, especially in this day and time, because so much stuff is accessible to us that wasn't accessible before.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Just stick to it. Just stick to it.
That's dope. That's dope. Dame.
He on mute.
You're on mute, bro.
Carl, you're on mute.
What?
That was a great point. That was a great point, Dame. It was a great point you just made.
You heard it. You heard it. No, watching my daughters grow up right now, trying to see what their likes and dislikes are, trying to encourage to go after what they have a passion for. My middle daughter, she is more of an outgoing. She's more, I want to say, independent when it comes to doing certain things, doing things by herself. She has to at least try herself before she asks for help. So I do like that about her spirit. The oldest, she's more of I need help at all times. I'm trying to break her of that, because she has special needs, and my youngest son is too. So just trying to get him to stop licking the walls and licking the glass and eating everything. Other than that,
what was the question? What is he answering? I got questions, comments, and concerns.
I'm just trying to see where the specialty lies in. Like, maybe my daughter wants to do something with design or something like that. She likes to draw and color. See where that can take her. I'm just trying to look to see where I can give them a push in the right direction and not force them to go against their passion versus hobby.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Hype.
Y'all heard the word. Y'all all heard me on the episode talking to my daughter about these type of things.
Where at?
That was at How to Hustle Podcast with Hype. I believe that was July the 24th, something like that, 25th. Can't think of the episode number, probably 70, 68, something like that.
Where can we find that episode at?
You can find it on all streaming platforms. Search How to Hustle Podcast with Hype. We only accept 5 stars, not 4. Or every Tuesday, 2 o'clock on the GFT Radio Network. So you're like talking to her about like doing different businesses and things. Like you said, like somebody made this point, I think it was Smooth, where it's going to be hard. You got to understand that you're the last one to get paid when these jobs come. They're not always going to be jobs. There's not always going to be clothes that get sold. Some weeks you sell 2 jackets, a couple of jerseys, and we lit. Some weeks you clean 3 houses and we lit. Some weeks it ain't clean shit, you ain't sold shit, and we ain't lit. So you got to understand there's some trial and error. You got to understand there's some ups and downs and some trial and error with the situation. And it's a learning experience. And everybody is not built for it. If you're not the type of person who is like me, I'm a stubborn motherfucker. And if that's what I want to do, that's what the fuck I'm gonna do. And trying to explain it to my daughter, where it's like the first time it gets hard, the first time you got a week where nothing happens, or 2 weeks where nothing happens, you can't just go, oh well, I quit, I ain't doing this no more. If that's really what you want to do. So I would pretty much mostly be on the tip like Dame said, the 2-year-old is, stop putting that in your mouth. Don't lick that. But my oldest.
Hold on, I have a 9-year-old. I still gotta say, stop putting that in your mouth. He like grass and eating trees and stuff. So he 9, and I gotta tell him to stop licking stuff, stop putting stuff in his mouth. So I don't think it's the age limit. But
don't worry, my 9-year-old does the same thing, Sonny. Don't worry.
It's more so like Smooth said this one too, where You just want them to be good people. I want you to, if you say something, have your word mean something. Have it when you say something that it carries weight, because people understand that you're not just talking, and that you really mean what you say and you're about what you say. It's one of them things where I never tell anybody I can do anything or I will do anything if I really can't do it. If I can't do it, then it's better for me to just tell you, Willie, I can't make it, versus, oh no, I had to do this, I had to do that. We all got shit to do. And we can always have excuses of, oh, my kid, my wife, my son, my daughter. Like, you can always go there. But if I tell you I'm doing something, I'm gonna do it, regardless if it puts me in a fucked up spot or not. If I gave you my word, then it's the best thing that you could ever get. And I want them to carry they self like that. You gonna go do whatever the fuck it is that you want, because your life can't be like all of the mistakes that I made. I want you to fix up. I want you to clean up. That's not what this is. You got your own situation. You're gonna have to get your own scrapes, scars, and bruises and tell your own stories.
Hey, but
Sure.
Hank, that wife well is great when you don't want to do anything. Like the wife needs me, man. I like using that excuse.
I just like tell niggas, no, I'm cool. I don't think I'm not gonna be making that one. That doesn't sound like a plan.
Right, right. Yeah,
Niggas
yeah,
want to
I
go.
definitely
Niggas want
agree
to go
that,
waste $800 today. That's not a part of the plan. I can't do that one.
right. I definitely agree that, uh, just encouraging your children to be um, good human beings, be productive citizens, be um, deliberate about, their intentions, be, uh, um, you know, always
Trustworthy,
think,
honest.
like Hank was just saying, always be truthful with your word. Say, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I can't, I can't. Don't be wishy washy. Don't burn bridges, things like that. So I definitely agree on a lot of that. I did during the time my kids raising my kids, push them and encourage them to be entrepreneurs, just because I always felt like it was the best thing to do, regardless if you end up landing in a job and deciding, what, I just like this 9 to 5 situation, or I like this, factory situation, or I like this whatever situation. But being able to know how to run a business, how to be your own boss, how to manage people, how to be a leader, things like that. I felt was very important, because it's going to transition to a job anyway. Most jobs want you to be able to be a self-starter, to, like Dame's point, not have to get help all the time, or not feel like, you're lost in the job. You want to be that person that can walk in there and say, you know what, I see the vision that you have for this, and I can do this job to push this thing along, or be a great team member or team leader. So having those entrepreneurial skills, either progressing a business, or if you decide to say, what, I'm gonna do 9 to 5, either way it works out. So that's something I always encourage my kids to do at all times. But to everyone else's point, I always just told them, find a passion, find something that you love to do, and if you can translate that into a job or into a business, do it. Because bottom line, you're gonna be a much happier, less stressed out person if you are doing something that you love. I do technology. I love technology. It's something that I live, breathe, eat, sleep, everything. And it's always served me. So either when I was in business or 9 to 5, I always enjoyed what I did. Right now, I love my job. I just did a presentation to my manager and some of my coworkers, talking about my path from childhood to adulthood, and to now, and how I developed my career. And just kept mentioning that, hey, I did these things because I love doing them. I did this thing because I love doing that, and now I'm here and I love doing what I do here. So it's definitely something. It's a testimony to say that that you always have loved what you did. You know what I'm saying? Versus so many people are in positions, jobs, careers in tech, or in industries that they absolutely hate. You know what I'm saying? That it's stressful because they don't want to be there. That it's wearing on their health because they don't want to be there, or it's stressing them out, or it's basically killing them. So I definitely highly believe that you should be somewhere that you want to be, to the point of just you know, how I'm doing. I definitely have never told a kid, you know, hey, you either do this or we got a problem, you know, anything like that. But, you know, I definitely have anytime that they slacked off or did something that was like, you know what, that's counter to what you want to do. You know, I know you really love doing this. You know, why are you going against that grain, or why are you conforming to something that somebody else said that you couldn't do this? You know what I'm saying? I can't remember the exact quote, but I know there's a meme that speaks to, you know, just because you can't doesn't mean just because you don't doesn't mean I can't. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely up to you to decide how you progress and find your success. And also to Smooth's point, failure is not going to shouldn't define you. You shouldn't allow
Shouldn't be
failure
the
to
end all
define
be
you.
all.
It's
Yeah.
a stepping stone to your success. You know, we all didn't come out the gate being successful in each and everything that we did. So do not expect to fail. You know, one of the in my previous company, one of the biggest things that the founder always talked about was, you know, his hundreds of failures before he found success. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't look at the failures as an ending, but as the beginning of the next chance to be successful. So you definitely have to look at life like that and look at all the things that you do like that.
Quick question. What, because we all either ran businesses or even at work, what attribute that works for you that you don't want your children to have when it comes to either running a business or at work? With me,
what attribute that you have or that you don't like?
That you have.
Oh,
like it's an attribute that I have that works for me, but I don't necessarily want my daughter to have, which is, you feel me?
That's easy.
Sometimes I can be real, because I've been in supervisory positions as well. And sometimes I can be sharp with my tongue. And sometimes it's not even meant that way, because it's just, I'm straightforward. I ain't got time to sugarcoat shit for you. You know what I mean? It's either this or it's that. And like, you feel me? It's however you take it at that point. We can deal with it further.
I
That's
think
not
for
always,
me,
I found out that wasn't always appropriate. So I don't want my daughter
to do that. Yeah. I feel like with my job, I have people say that I'm mean and by the book, right? But my job is intentional. Like the way I do my work is intentional. This is how it's supposed to be done. I don't care what you guys are doing, but this is how it's supposed to be done. And this is why I don't get as much pushback from employees that everybody else gets, because you say it without an authoritative approach to it. People are going to say, oh, well, maybe I can get past this and then the third. But I think for me and my job, it can come off as dismissive to an extent, because like the type of job I do, I understand how you feel and how you may be upset, how you may feel like things are unfair, but this is what it is. And I'm not like, I had somebody tell somebody that I don't see gray, I only see black and white. And it's like, no, I do see gray. I don't see it for everybody. I don't pick and choose who I see it for. It's just sometimes like it's one thing for me to help you, but I also need you to help yourself. And if you can't help yourself, I'm not helping you. I'm doing what my job is, and there's nothing else behind that. And so some people can come off harsh or mean. So I don't want her to get that vibe, but I'm very, that's my job though. Like I have to give you, these are the rules. I can't bend it for you. Somebody else can bend it for you, but I don't have that authority. And I'm not being an asshole about it. It's just what it is. And sometimes my delivery is not how you like it, but it is what it is. I'm not telling you anything wrong. You just don't like what I'm saying.
Right.
And it could come off as I'm being dismissive, but I'm not. I totally get what you're saying. You can tell me what's going on, and I can hear all that and understand where you're coming from. But at the end of the day, this is what it is.
For sure.
And it comes off dismissive. So I wouldn't want her to be dismissive of people. And it's crazy because outside of in real life, if you know me, I'm not dismissive. I'm the opposite. I'm very cognizant, or I'm probably gonna use the word wrong, but I'm very aware of your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
on how I
Empathetic.
do things. So if I know it's going to bother you, I'm going to switch it up and how I deliver it to you. But sometimes if you need it raw, I'm going to give it to you raw. But I'm very thoughtful and mindful of your feelings before I say stuff. But I know that with my job, I can't be that way, because once you give them an inch, they take a mile, and then it's a whole big problem at the end. So to avoid that, I'm very strict, and maybe I'll change it up depending on what it is.
Yeah, I mean, so most jobs you can be flexible, right? It's not always black and white. I know in my job, it's definitely never black and white. You know, no matter what the rule book said, no matter what the process is, there's always going to be a lot of gray areas where we can maneuver inside of. But you know, our bosses, our leaders are expecting us to make the right decisions in that gray area, so that you know things don't either get out of hand or things don't fall down. But I definitely can see where in your position, yeah, it definitely has to be a little bit more narrow focused and less flexible. Dame?
Maybe to be a bit more vocal. Don't always have to bite your tongue on every situation. You don't always have to coddle people's feelings. Mm-hmm. Some people, they deserve that jab, and they just they really do deserve to get throat punched sometimes. No, yeah, I'm gonna say that. That's my new one for the rest of the 2022. No, throat punching people.
Yeah, please don't throat punch folks.
They just my job. I want to, but you can't.
But being more vocal, that's a big one. I mean, a lot of people in their jobs, they may not speak up, or they may allow things to just pass, and they may say, you know, it is what it is. But there's so many places where you definitely have to be vocal. You definitely have to stand up for yourself. You definitely have to be more defensive of your position, because other than that, people will run over you, right? You know, leadership is good for running over folks who allow them to run over them. So you definitely have to be careful with that.
You got to pick your spots though, because you don't want to do it all the time. Certain scenarios and certain situations, like Sonny.
I do it all the time. It's cool. Don't listen to them. They don't know what's
coming. You know,
I'm coming like they already know my job. You come for me, I'm coming with hardcore facts, and this is what we got to do. Don't personalize it now. It ain't personal. It's just facts.
Let's go to Hype right quick.
No.
Control freak. I'm a control freak with no problem admitting it. I always
learned that last week.
I'm a ball dominant guard. I got the ball at the top of the key. I can't come off screens. I can't shoot threes out the corner. I got to run the play. And
you ask your wife.
You acting like Michael Jordan right now. Okay.
You ask your wife. What about that wedding?
Wife, I told you, my wife is the perfect left tackle. She has she can get the blind side. She can get everything I can't see. But I'm throwing the ball to make sure I get us down this field. My daughter just doesn't have that kind of personality, so it wouldn't be good for her to adopt that from me, because she's not that type of person. So self-evaluation is always the most important evaluations. I can't keep it real with you if I don't know what it is that I'm looking at in the mirror when I look at myself. And since we're saying what is your strong suit that would be bad for them, that would definitely be it. For her to adapt all of that from me and her not to have that type of personality, it wouldn't be sustainable.
For sure. For me, it's just my workaholic. Since you know, I'm a huge, like, I got to get it done kind of person. I was just talking to somebody this afternoon about, I was working on a project, and it was like bugging the heck out of me that I couldn't get this thing finished. And I had 2 days to finish it. I just have to have it done by the 31st. But you know, this one particular part of the project was just like kicking my behind. And no matter how much research I was doing, no matter how many sites I was looking up, like the answers just weren't ever correct. And I was sitting here until like 7 o'clock this evening working on it. You know, I've done that in the past. I mean, I worked on a project one time on a task for almost 18 hours just because I just don't want to give up. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's good when you know that, you know, there is an answer out there somewhere, and you know, having a work ethic of I'm going to find a solution can be good, but when you're constantly doing it, it's bad. It can be bad for your stress. It can be bad for your health. It can be bad. Again, it can send the wrong signals to your managers, to your leaders, or even to your customers if you're in business. Because if you allow work to take over your life, then it can be detrimental to your relationships, to your livelihood, things of that nature. I'm a big proponent of work-life balance. I just have never I won't say never. I just in the past had not been very successful at it. I've gotten better over time. In at least the last 10 years, I've gotten a lot better. Definitely my kids will tell you, because my older kids suffered from me not having a good work-life balance. But now my younger kids, can definitely, vouch and give a testimony of how much more, available and that I've been and able to kind of step away from work. I used to go on vacations with my younger kid or my older kids when they were younger and be working on vacation, because I was such a workaholic. But now when it's time for vacation, I'm on vacation. When it's time to be off work, I'm off work. I have every 4 to 6 weeks I'm on call. I'm still out in these streets because I'm like, hey, you're not taking that away from me, because I need my time off. I need my vacations. I need my time away from work, because I give my all while I'm there. I can't give my all while I'm not either. You know what I'm saying? But another thing that I had bad, and I definitely learned early on was the do it myself attitude. There's a lot of people that have that attitude, that they feel like, hey, if nobody else can do it, I can do it, or that nobody else can do it.
Nobody can do it like I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a bad way to be, especially when you're in business, or especially when you're in leadership. As a team leader, I always continue to work in the trenches with my folks, and which is not a bad thing. It's just that sometimes I could have delegated some of that workload. As a business owner, I definitely should have delegated more of my workload, because when you own a business, anybody that has ever owned a business can tell you there's a lot more to owning a business than just the work you do. It's all the back end stuff. So being able to have either a staff or at least another person or two that you can say, hey, I need you to go do XYZ while I do ABC, because you can't do it all yourself. You just can't. No matter how much you want to convince yourself, no matter how much time you think you have on your hands, it just lends to that workaholic attitude that makes you end up losing that work-life balance again, or you just fail. And that, one of my businesses, it's severely failed because of the fact that I did not know how to step away and let somebody else do it.
So somebody told me, like, a lot of people have told me this over the last month or two, you need an assistant. You got too much shit going on. Like, it's hard. How do you keep track of all that shit? I'm like, well, one, the reason why I can't have an assistant is because, like I just said, I know that you're not going to give a fuck as much as I give a fuck. And the first time I look at you and say, Willie, what we doing on the 12th? Is everything cool? And you go, we done. Because how are you not prepared for the moment? At any given time, you could throw anything at me from any of my different situations, and I can give you the whole rundown of how we going to do it, when we doing it, what time we supposed to be there, and all of that. But I can't trust that nobody else is going to give a fuck like that. I can't trust that nobody else is going to look at that. Like, I don't look at none of the shit that I do like as work, because I like it. I love it. This is the shit that I want to do. And it's like, as long as it's all about how much I'm going to do, how hard I'm going to go, then it's never going to be a problem, because I'm never going to look at it like, oh my God, I got to do this shit again. Like, I'm like, oh nah, we got shit to do. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
See,
well, one thing I learned in leadership training.
Somebody's trying to order a jersey right now. That's why I keep looking down at the phone.
One thing I learned about running my business is, and to Willie's point, I couldn't do it all by myself. You feel me? Not a successful business. You feel me? I could still make a profit. A profitable business and a successful business is two different things, in my opinion. You feel me? Because I walk away with a profit, but I can walk away with much more if in the beginning I had things set up to where it wasn't me doing everything. You feel me? So even with, with my notary, with my maybe I need a personal assistant. You feel me? Maybe my daughter be asking me for chores. Maybe I might, have her be my personal assistant to check my emails for when I gotta do a notary sign, because I be missing stuff because I be so busy. I be so busy over here that sometimes this get away from me. Then when I'm catching up with this, that gets away from me. You know what I mean? And one of the main things I've learned is I can't do it on my own.
And that's the crazy part. I thought about that.
But I can't. I don't got the 8 arms, bro. You feel me?
Right. Well, no, and I think Smooth, you were one of the people that kind of gave me the talk about multitasking, how inefficient being a multitasker is. I always prided myself on being a multitasker. I can do 2, 3, 4, 5 things at once. Like Hank was saying, I'm taking an order, I'm on a podcast, I'm telling my daughter what to do, but you cannot efficiently multitask. You just don't. As much as you think you are, you're not. So it's like if you really look at it like, hey, I got one thing that I'm focused on, you will do that so much more efficiently, quicker, with greater success, or with an easier, go of it, and you'll be a little less distracted as well. I started looking at, and I remember the first time Smooth told me that it had to have been like 4 or 5 years ago, and I just was like, bro, you fooling, because I got this under control. But then I started looking at, okay, how long is it taking me to do 4 things at once compared to if I just did those one thing at a time? You know what I'm saying? And it's and then also being able to pay attention to what I'm doing, and I started to realize, there's certain things I'm missing, or there's certain things that I'm not getting done efficiently in an efficient amount of time, or certain, tasks that I'm doing over and over again because I'm not doing it right the first time, or I'm not doing it to my satisfaction because I got, 2 other things going on at the same time. When you start looking at, now if what you're doing is so simple, like, oh yeah, I can tell such and such to do this while, I click this little button. Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about actual tasks that are taking, 5, 10, 20 minutes, which, once you start adding those up and you start looking at, okay, how long should it really have taken me to do this? It probably should only take you like 30 minutes to do something that's taking you 10, or it should only taking you 8 minutes to do something that's taking you 20. You know what I'm saying? And then the time that you get back, you know what I'm saying? That goes back to your work-life balance. It's like, hey, yeah, you can do 3, 4 things in an hour and be like, oh, I did them in an hour, I'm good. Now, if you had done them things sequentially instead, or in a serial manner instead, you might have did it in 45. You got 15 minutes, you can go, take a sit down, take a breather, sit back and be like, all right, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Value your time. That's another thing I had to do, was learn how to value my time. Not feel like all time needs to be taken up, but value the time that you get back.
And it's funny though that y'all say that, because
I already see the look on your face, Time. I already see the look on your face. I know what you're thinking.
I'm antsy.
Before you go, let me tell you something. Trust me. The worst feeling you can ever have as a business owner is to watch it rise and watch it, flourish, but then start to cap off and come down because of you. Because you didn't want to allow nobody to help you, because you wanted to control everything. Trust me, bro. That's the worst feeling, because then once you hit that point, it's going to be so hard to rise that back up again, because time is wasted, energy is wasted, opportunities will be wasted. You feel me? If you can get yourself an assistant and that means whoever told you that, I forget if you said it was your cousin or whatever, or your brother.
Nah, a bunch of people tell me that.
Because they see it, bro.
Mm-hmm, they see it.
Yeah.
They seeing what you don't see.
I said that to a friend of mine. A friend of mine did hair. Well, she does hair, and she was going through the process. She ended up getting a planner and trying to figure it all out. And she was like to Smooth's point, was missing appointments, couldn't figure out this, that, and the third. And it's funny because I have been talking to another friend of mine that does notary and signing like Smooth does. And then she has her own business where she makes different items and stuff for sale. She's always overwhelmed. And I said to her, like, I should be a secretary. Like, I should be a secretary. And I told that to the girl that was doing hair. Maybe I could be the person that plans, like, we, get a number line linked to my phone, like Google Voice. And I set up your appointments. And then I just, take the appointment, contact you, set it up and stuff like that. Cause she had a problem with, getting people to put deposits down. Like, it was a lot of stuff happening. People was canceling appointments at the last minute, all stuff like that. And I talked to her about it. And she was like, I need to do that. But she never did it. Right. And then she had got like low on clients. She had been double booking and a lot of stuff that she was trying to do and trying to rush to do stuff like that. And I said to her one day, and I said, well, you should, like, I don't know if there's a website that you can do, because I know a lot of hairstylists that have websites, set up stuff to set appointments, set up reminders of appointments. It's like a planner online that alerts you to keep everything. So like, even if you don't want a person,
yeah, there's other
stuff,
options.
like you can have like a website, because I said sometimes you don't something to have people go to that website and set up appointments with you, so you can give them a 24 to 48 hour response to whether or not you could do the job, like get their time frame in which they can get it done, like those type of things, so you won't feel overwhelmed. And we talked about that, and I said at some point when I get my life together, I think I'm really going to end up doing something like that, because I think a lot of people can I think I will be essentially good at that. Like, once I find my work-life balance and be able to get my life a little bit more calmer, to be able to focus on doing those types of things, because like I like that type of stuff. My sister even said when she opens her real estate agent shop, she wanted a real estate agent office. She wants me to be secretary and do all this stuff, because the whole time she was doing my helping me find my house and helping somebody else find their house, I was doing all the paperwork for her. Like, I was sending the emails for them to sign my own papers, sending it to the people, like I was going through that whole process with her. Like, I was her secretary, but it was my own stuff and somebody else's stuff. And she wasn't that savvy to do it.
Let me get back to Haim. Go ahead, Haim. Let's get your last comment on that.
All right, so we just was talking about earlier about the move out situation. Me and my cousin, this is my best man in my wedding. We've been talking about since we was 4. We're gonna get matching Cadillacs. We're gonna live together. So me and this nigga done been forever. Like I said, he got the cable bill, I got the gas bill. We split everything else. First time I see a cable bill, this joint is like $600 in a hole. That means you been not paying this motherfucker. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I'm about to get the cable cut off. What the fuck you talking about? You about to get the cable cut off? Because I'm trusting in him that he's handling this. I ain't never looked at this shit. I never worried about it. I don't even know the name on the account. Bro never paid that motherfucker. That was strike one, and I keep coming home, and now the cable keep being off. This is how the trust issues build up. My original podcast, there's 10 of us on the show. Audio come out on Sunday, YouTube come out on Wednesday. 10 of us on the show. I doubt that 2 of us listen to the show every week. It may be, I doubt it. Okay, if over under is 2.5, I'm taking the under. All right. I can't get niggas to watch the show. I can't get niggas to listen to the show. I can't get you to send it to nobody, talk to nobody about it. And I'm telling you, it's taking me 2 hours every Wednesday to send this shit to everybody. It's taking me an hour and some change on Sunday to send this shit to everybody. All the conversations that I'm having, everything that I'm doing is always about progressing our situation. But it's 10 of us, and I'm the only one doing it. So before I leave them to go do the shit by myself, it's like, well, if I'm going to do all the work by my damn self, when I get us to the point to make some money off this shit, why would we split this money equally if we didn't split this work and this grind and this hustle equally? But I knew if I leave this shit to go start my own shit, now I just wasted 3 years of building this shit up, which is how once I got to How to Hustle, I had 2 radio stations and 25 guests lined up before I had a name or an Instagram page. Because that's just me going hard at it. Like I said, when I'm sitting in a room with 10 of us, that's just 10 of us on the camera. That's not the 3 niggas that's sitting over here, the production people, all of the shit that goes into that shit. And I can't rely on one of these niggas. That's why I say I can't, it's hard for me to trust anybody else to do this shit, because I got too many situations where it's like putting my trust in people, they let me down. And like I said, I know I ain't gonna let me down.
No, and I agree. No. And I agree. That's the tough part of it, and I definitely hear you when you say, finding somebody to be as passionate and invested into what you're doing as what you are, that is going to be a challenge. You know, you're not always going to find somebody who's passionate and involved or invested into what everything that you see, that vision you see. But one thing I learned in leadership training was learning how to sell people on an idea, not the whole idea, part of it. It's not always about them having this big vision of everything you're doing, but if you can get them to buy into the one part that they want, like Sonny, if you said, Sonny, I really just need a good, you know, personal assistant. Sonny is vested in being a great personal assistant. That's all you need. You don't need her to be vested in understanding how the presses run, how the materials look, or how this works, or how that works. You just need her to be vested in being the best personal assistant she can be. You need me to be the best tech guy that you need me to be. You need Dame to be the best delivery guy you need him to be. You need Smooth to be the best, you know, contract person you need him to be. You gotta sometimes sell the part of the business before you can sell the whole thing.
And then also that's perfect. Like that's perfect. Also, you got to be able to have real conversations. And it goes back to what I said earlier about failing. All you told me was failures, but you learned from their failures. So with your cousin, you said your failures yourself. You never talked to him. You don't know who name on it. That's on you. You know what I mean? Even though it's his responsibility, think about it.
No, how that's on me?
You're supposed to want to know just as much as he need to know.
It affects you. Because listen,
if we live together and say,
you giving him your rent money, you don't know he's paying your rent. You homeless.
Hold on, Sonny.
Yeah, it affects you. So when you're doing something if we're doing this podcast, right, and I'm late today, and we all talk, oh, we got to be on time, Clinton, but I keep coming late. I expect Willie, you, Dame, or Sonny to hit my phone, like, bro, we talked about this. You feel me? We got to get it together. You feel me? So if we're in a situation, if I'm in the house, because I've been through that same exact situation to giving money, and then something gets shut off, and I'm like, yo, I was giving you the money. What was you doing with the money? I had to look in the mirror and realize I should have been on that, because that affects me too. If these lights get cut out in here and you're responsible for the lights, you feel me? I'm hurting. So I have to check in on you too. Sometimes you just got to check in with your cousin. Is this handled? Are you in a hole? Do you need me to help you out until you get back? You know what I mean? Right. And then
show me a receipt. Simple as that. Show me a receipt.
Let me know what's going on. And you do the same with him. That's how you can even approach it. Like, look, bro, this is what I gotta take care of. This is where we standing at over here. So you don't got to worry about that. How it's coming on your end. You need some help. You behind. Let me know. Don't let it go until you can't. Until you coming to me telling me, man, this shit getting shut off. Like, what you mean? I got a biddy coming over later. We about to sit here Netflix and chill. You talk about everything off. You feel me? Like, are we gonna feel some type of way? But that's on you.
Once and that situation showed me though. Once I get into it with my wife, and it's like, yo, did you pay the cable bill? Did you pay that shit? Did you pay the gas bill? Because like I left, like you said, you was handling that one. You know how many times we both paid the cable bill? Because it's like, all right, look, the shit due on the 15th. I never know when nothing's due except rent. It was the only thing I knew when it was due. When I get paid, I'm paying the bill. I don't like owing niggas money. So if you never said or sent me the screenshot like you said and showed me that cable bill, I'm on the phone with Comcast going, yo, here go to $260. Like, because that shit with my cousin, that shit killed that shit. I'm like, dickhead, how is you not paying the bill? The gas ain't never been off. Gas gonna be on every month because I got that shit.
And you said you failed on a podcast with 10 other people, right? Well, 9 other people. It's 10 of y'all. You feel me? That lets you know right there how shit should work. Who's invested? Now you know how to read people, bro.
Mm-hmm. See, now that was something you just said too. Like, certain motherfuckers is like, I know I can't have that conversation with you because I know you ain't listening. I know you're not there. I know you don't give a fuck like that. I know he, like you said, this nigga's always late. This nigga ain't never got his money. This nigga's always got excuses. See why I fuck with Willie so much is because whenever I talk to Willie about, hey Willie, how you do this, that, or whatever, he could give me the answer. He could tell that shit to me. He could explain it to me. He could break it for me because we could have that kind of conversation. Some motherfuckers is like, I know we can't talk about this shit. I could give you all the great points, point out all the shit, and you didn't hear none of it. All that shit went right over your head because you ain't getting none of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for
that's
3
just
years,
stuff
I'm
you learn
doing
how
that
to
show,
pick
and
your
it's
team.
like I can't tell how many. Like I said, it's 10 of us on the show, and you gonna keep having this conversation with niggas. They gonna keep not listening and not getting it because all they see is, oh, niggas is downloading shit, niggas is watching it, the numbers is up, the numbers is all there because I'm going as hard as I am, and if 9 other motherfuckers is doing it, nigga, we could be the fucking drink champs. Like,
But yeah, that goes to picking, learning how to pick your team, learning how to pick the right people to do the right jobs. Because you can't put people in a position just because that's your friend, or just because that's your brother, or just because they look good. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to realize, some people aren't cut out for what you want them to do. What can they actually do? And then let them do that, and then you get somebody else to do the other thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a learning experience. To Smooth's point, you gotta let your failures be your guide. You know what I'm saying? Let your failures help you avoid those situations or learn from those situations. Okay, I need a new strategy. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times you just have to say, you know what? It is what it is. I got to move forward with somebody else or do something different because this isn't going to work. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you do got to cut your losses.
And you said something. I'm sorry, Sonny. Go ahead. My bad.
Not just saying that part. I agree.
Mm-hmm. And you said something. Sometimes we put stuff on ourselves that's not true. You called yourself a control freak, this, that, and the third. And then in the very next breath, you said, man, if I don't know something, I'm calling Willie, and you listen to Willie. So you're not as a control freak as much as you think you are. You feel me? Because when somebody can share some wisdom or knowledge with you, you're gonna listen. That's one of my things with Willie too. Willie, like me, we Scorpios. You feel me? We're gonna say it how we is. We had this conversation, so we're gonna say it like it is. So that's why I like Willie. With the technical stuff, I can figure that shit out. You feel me? On my own, but I know that's bro bad. Yeah, that's bro bad. And he been doing this for some odd years. I can actually just go to him for help, but you know what I mean. And also, like with Sonny, if I want to hear somebody tell me something straight, I'm gonna go to Sonny. Like don't pull no punches. Don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't like that shit. you feel me? Yes. So if somebody feels some type of way, or like, that's what I've learned. A lot of us don't know how to give criticism and how to accept it. So when you in a team like how we is, you feel me? You got to know how to give it, and you got to know how to accept it. Because if we're going to prosper, if we're going to do what we say we're going to do, you feel me? Listen. So you can talk to
like, listen, baby, listen.
You feel me? If we supposed to do what we're going to do, communication has to be open, but we also have to be receptive to that community.
Yeah. I know a couple times Clint Smooth done call me out a couple times, and it needed to happen, and I knew it wasn't coming from a place of being negative and just be like, hey, no. He like, listen, get what you doing. Like, this your shit, get it together. Like, so, and like, that's like I said, you don't want, and that's why we said on the podcast, we talked about it multiple times, we don't want yes friends. I want you to tell me if I'm fucking up, I'm dropping the ball, you're supposed to tell me. It's like the uncomfortable conversations are supposed to be had, because if I'm gonna have an uncomfortable conversation with you, that means I love you enough to even talk to you about what's going on and address it. So like, if I can't do that with you, then we ain't got a relationship. Because if I can't tell you, hey Smooth, hey Dame, hey Willie, or Hank, this blah blah blah, what are we doing?
Exactly.
We being real fake. Nah.
See, for me, you gotta show me. My whole thing be, I respect so few people like the way that they move and shit, the way that they view shit. I said this on the episode with Q before. That if you show me like one, you got the knowledge, and two, you got the work ethic, you put in the time, and like he said, Willie got years in with this shit. I called my man. I called Bobby about cleaning one of the last cleaning jobs I did. About he got a landscaping, so he knows about this shit. He's been doing this shit for 10 years. He knows better than me how to make this shit happen. So yo, what's the chemical? What's the solution? How you use it? You can't have too much pride that you're gonna fuck up your own situation just because you want to be. I'm the one who knows everything. Nah, you stupid.
Right.
If you the smartest nigga in the room, get out the building. Because if
Thank
you
you.
always know,
Thank
if
you.
you always know the most, then something's wrong. Like you're hanging around.
I literally quit a job a couple years ago because of that, just because of that reason. Because I was the smartest one in the room, and I was like, "There's a problem here." So I mean, I even with 35, I do have 35 years in technology, and I still learn something new every day. I still learn things. I still take advice from other people. I work with a team right now full of I consider geniuses, but they still bounce ideas off of me like, Will, what do you think we should do about this? How do you feel about this? But I love that I can go to them too, you know what I'm saying, and be able to get guidance, get answers. I don't know everything. I definitely will never. Well, I used to say I knew everything, but I know I stopped doing that because your ego get too big, then you start falling for real. But also just knowing that there's somebody out there that's got an answer that you need. So definitely, and it's always something new to learn. It's always something new to learn. But you know what? We're gonna wrap this show up because this is again the last show while we go on hiatus on our Monday shows. A couple other shows will continue to go on. The How to Hustle podcast on Hype will continue every Tuesday at 2 p.m. As well as Monday mornings on the audio podcast. But make sure you check it out on YouTube as well on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. The Styles and
Episode
Chevy
78 out right now.
For sure. The Styles and Chevy recap every Wednesday at 9 p.m. We will continue that show as well. So we can get through the She-Hulk episodes. We will not be in the building this Wednesday. We will be skipping this Wednesday, but you can catch us next Wednesday, 9 p.m. So make sure you get with us. We'll be doing episodes 2 and 3 of She-Hulk. And I think next month, are you still planning to do some Sex with Sunny live?
Yeah. So what is that? The 6th or the 9th, something like that. I don't know the date offhand.
Well, make sure you guys hit that subscribe and that notification button so you can find so you can get the notifications when the shows drop. So make sure you check that out. And what about the fans' perspective, guys? Oh, you're on mute, Smooth.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna do a show this upcoming Sunday. So Dane, we live. We gonna we got a lot of stuff
starting back up. Yeah, you niggas better be goddamn.
Nah,
football's back. We're gonna take a few weeks off.
right.
Nothing to talk about here.
Might get a couple extra shows out of that one, then. Might get a couple extra shows. Yep. So like I said, we got all this content. Make sure you guys consume it. You can go to our Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitch, all of our audio podcast platforms and check out all of our content. Again, the Monday shows, we're going to be on hiatus. We'll definitely be letting you guys know when we're back. But in the meantime, go check out the replays. We got tons and tons and tons of content.
Yes.
470 plus shows and counting. So make sure you guys check that out. And me and Dame will be back next month or month after next for the Styles and Dame Presents One Crazy Month. So make sure you guys check us out. We got a ton of topics to talk about on that show as well. Until then, Sunny, let the folks know where they can find you.
You can find me at IamSunny_D, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. TikTok, I came back. Y'all better be on it. My website too, Unreservedly Me. I've been on there more too. So check me out there. Bye, guys.
For sure.
What's going on, good people? It's your boy Smooth. You will catch me on Twitter all the damn time at eTrentonGroove. Visit my blog at kingstruth.com. And I'm on Snapchat at @KingsTruth. Before I get out of here, I want to give a happy birthday shout out to my beautiful, beautiful sister Trishan. Her birthday was on the 26th. So I'm gonna give happy belated birthday shout out to her. And Wednesday is my mother, the queen, my earth. It's her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mama.
Oh,
Yes.
happy birthday, mama.
Yeah, so that's it. Salute.
Appreciate you hitting the button. Welcome to the How to Hustle Podcast with Hype. Episode, what is this one? 78 is out right now on all streaming platforms, premiering tomorrow, 2 o'clock on the GFT Radio Network. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Hype. That's HYMPE. It's Hype, it's not hype. I'm not geeked up. Also, do your back to school shopping with us over here at Custom Hustle World on Instagram, Custom Hustle Co. on Twitter. Dane.
Hey, it's me again. You catch me up at Another Level Up on Instagram, Shinlo21 on Twitch, Checkmate21 on TikTok, and Shinlo21 on Xbox Network. And Philly's going to lose 36-26 against the Lions this Sunday. That's what Clint.
Go Cowboys.
Oh, you suck.
And this your boy Willie Styles in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Styles on IG and Twitter. I'm Willie.Styles on Snapchat and TikTok. You can find me over at gamingwithstyles.com playing video games, as well as on stylesradio.com listening to all the hot tracks. Or check me out over at williestyles.info for all my links. Guys, stay on the line. And other than that, we will see y'all later.
Yo, it's your boy Dame here.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D.
Yo, it's your boy Smooth from the GFT Radio Network.
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building.
Join us Mondays at 10 p.m. live on Twitch, YouTube, and our Facebook. And if you miss us, don't worry. You can catch it on our website, gftradioshow.com. And if you feel like talking to us every day, join our Facebook group.
At Join the Conversation, the group where you can discuss all kinds of topics.
Catch me also, Fans Respected, Dope Sports Show. Holla at your boy.
You can cop some merchandise over at our store, teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, and even more.
Next time on GFT Radio, what are we talking about? Join the conversation to find out.
Make sure you get at us on GFTRadioshow.com for all of our audio and